Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of August 25th, 2025. I'm Scouter Ken, and I'm once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. Some exciting news from the World Organization of the Scouting Movement today. World Scouting's membership has evidently reached a new historic high, primarily led by growth in the Africa Scout region. Quoting Scout.org, "Scouting is bigger than ever. In 2025, World Scouting's membership has an estimated reach of 60 million, a record high for the movement that reflects its continued expansion into new communities, growing network of volunteers, and deepening of key partnerships." This milestone prediction is based on the latest growth trends, including official census figures that put registered membership at over 51.4 million in 2023, as NSOs continue to rebound after the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and enhance their operations and programs. Several regions saw significant growth in 2023. Most notable was Africa, where numbers nearly doubled, 95.9% increase, rising to almost 10 million following efforts to strengthen national data collection. Two countries in particular stood out: Nigeria, which added 2.3 million new members, and Kenya, which welcomed 2.2 million. 2023 was also a milestone year for gender inclusion in scouting, with 18.8 million girls and women registered, largest number ever. Of this total, most come from the Asia-Pacific region, with more than 13.5 million girls and women registered, followed by Africa, 3.9 million, Europe, 646,000, Inter-America, 500,000, and the Arab countries, 131,000. End quote. That is some pretty phenomenal growth, actually. It's kind of sad that, here in Canada, we've barely managed to rebound our numbers post-COVID. And even then, we're not quite at our pre-COVID strength, and we're kind of seeing flatlining growth. But I guess, too, it's noteworthy that a lot of the places where we're seeing growth are places where people are having kids. I'm sure there's some correlation there. I don't want to get into an extended commentary on birth rates, but we do have a fairly low birth rate here in North America. I know the same holds true in Europe, whereas birth rates in Africa, a lot of the Asia-Pacific countries, are still quite high. And it kind of just makes sense that scouting would be growing as a youth movement in places where there are a lot more youth. And speaking of the World Organization, they have renewed their strategic partnership with the Malaysian government to empower youth, quoting Scout.org yet again. World Scouting and the government of Malaysia's Ministry of Education reaffirmed their long-standing partnership today, with a ceremony hosted at the global headquarters, marking more than a decade of collaboration focused on a commitment to youth development, education, and global citizenship. Since establishing its global headquarters in Kuala Lumpur in 2014, Scouting has delivered services and support to engage more than 60 million scouts across 176 national scout organizations by providing funding, strengthening their capacity, and hosting major, regional, and international events. Looking ahead, the Ministry of Education and World Scouting expressed continued interest and commitment to expand collaboration through joint initiatives and to deepen their relationship over the next 10 years. The major focus will be on supporting youth education and sustainable development across Malaysia and the wider Asia-Pacific region, which is home to more than half of the Scout movement's membership. The event concluded with a ceremonial signing and an exchange of gifts. End quote. And another story about Scouts responding to a disaster, this one out of Bangladesh, quoting, one more time, Scout.org. On 21st July 2025, a Bangladesh Air Force FT-7 BG-1 training jet crashed into the Milestone School and College campus at Uttara, Dhaka, killing at least 32 people, including students and staff, and injuring over 170 others. As chaos unfolded and emergency services rushed to the scene, Bangladesh Scouts stepped up as immediate responders, exemplifying the true spirit of humanitarian service. Responding within moments of hearing the news, Scouts assisted in evacuating injured individuals, clearing access routes for ambulances, and comforting distressed students and families. Some Scouts were deployed to transport victims to nearby hospitals, while others remained stationed at medical facilities, helping to manage the overwhelmed burn units and maintain calm in waiting areas. End quote. Again, I mean, it's never great to see tragedies, but it's always amazing to hear these stories from around the world of Scouts rushing in to help. And I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here, but it's one of those things that I really, really wish we saw more of here. And I worry sometimes that our diminished appetite for risk gets in the way of being a more present and more immediate presence in our communities when they are genuinely in need. Not even just in response to plane crashes, but just in response to, anything that could potentially happen. Now, here's something that probably doesn't come up very often in pre-trip risk assessments, but Some American Scouts are currently, well, as of a week ago they were, I don't know if they've since gotten home, but they were stranded in the Virgin Islands because of Hurricane Erin. Quoting People magazine via MSN. A Wisconsin-based scout troop is stuck in the U.S. Virgin Islands as Hurricane Erin barrels through the Atlantic Ocean. Boy Scout Troop 851 leader Ryan Schroeder said that the troop had been visiting St. Thomas to test their sailing and snorkeling skills as part of what was supposed to be a week-long trip. The group of 10 scouts and their leaders left Plymouth on August 10th, but soon learned that Hurricane Erin had developed in the Atlantic. The troop reportedly attempted to board a flight home on August 14th after being told to evacuate, but were ultimately unable to do so. Now, the troop is looking for help getting home. According to a GoFundMe set up by one of the troop leaders, the earliest flights back home are not until either Friday, August 22nd, or Saturday, August 23rd. Unfortunately, what began as a dream trip has turned into an unexpected challenge, wrote Sarah Lee Rison, noting that the extra days have created unexpected expenses for lodging, meals, and travel arrangements. End quote. Now, it doesn't sound like they're particularly in danger, but of course, when a hurricane rips through, it does tend to disrupt travel in a region, even outside of where it ultimately makes landfall. I've been in similar situations myself, once in my life, twice in my life. Not much you can do but wait it out. But it does definitely add cost when it comes to, waiting it out in some place that is not your home. And I won't quote from the story. This one's from the CBC here in Canada, because it's Scouts Canada calling for more volunteers. But you've heard me say this before. I'll say it again. There's a scout group in your area that probably needs volunteers. And if you are not currently volunteering with a scout group and you're just listening to a scouting podcast for your own amusement, I might suggest that you consider volunteering with your local scout group, because they need you. They almost assuredly need you. But to end on a happy note, cool story out of, I believe, New Jersey, where a scout just achieved what apparently only about 1% of American scouts ever do. Now, it's worth noting that Scouting America, formerly Scouts BSA, formerly Boy Scouts of America, still uses the merit badge system. We used to have something like that here in Canada. We kind of dropped that in favor of the one program model, which separates the badge streams into the outdoor achievement or the outdoor adventure skills and the personal achievement badges. And not all one program users do the personal achievement badge side of things. Don't think Scouting Ireland has them, for example. But we used to have a merit badge type system. It's kind of the traditional scouting badge system, and Scouting America still uses this. But apparently only about 1% of Boy Scouts ever earn all of them. Quoting NJ.com via MSN. An 18-year-old Boy Scout from Middlesex County had never encountered a merit badge he didn't want. Christopher Jones Jr. of Monroe recently completed a 6-year quest to secure all 139 merit badges offered by the Boy Scouts of America, according to his family. It takes 21 merit badges earned by completing a set of tasks in a subject area to become an Eagle Scout, the highest attainable rank in scouting. Jones did that nearly 7 times over. He went on a 5-day camping trip in Utah, learned how to play the bugle, built 4 benches for a local park, and volunteered at food shelters, among many other accomplishments. His pursuit of merit badges also took him to Yellowstone and Yosemite National Parks. Jones falls within perhaps the most elite category of Boy Scouts. Less than 1% attain all merit badges that were available to them upon signing up for the organization, said Scout Armstrong, director of Scouting America. The total number of merit badges has fluctuated over the decades, with some subjects being phased out or added. Jones joined the Boy Scouts in the 6th grade and persisted through the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic, which began the following year. His family members, including his father, Chris Jones, were cheering him on all the way. Jones secured his 139th and final badge as a high school senior just a few weeks before his 18th birthday in June, which was the deadline. He said that the backpacking merit badge, which involved several multi-day trips, was the most challenging. Others, such as scuba diving, introduced him to skills that he said he will continue to use outside of scouting. And if you're curious what he found to be the easiest, he said the scholarship merit badge was the easiest, as it focused primarily on writing an essay and getting a supportive letter from his school's principal. End quote. So, that is definitely worthy of congratulations. I don't usually touch on people reaching Eagle Scout anymore or anything like that, but earning every single badge in your scouting organization's badge program, that's pretty impressive. Well done, good sir. And that is all the news I have for you this week. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, be prepared.